Good morning, and thanks for joining us on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm Anna Azallion.
And I'm Melissa Constanzer. We've had a lot to cover in the past couple of hours as we've watched acres and acres of woodlands, a lot of locations, but even some near houses burn from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts.
Yeah, and we know one person has actually died from one of these fires, so definitely something that we're hoping the weather turns and kind of puts a stop to this soon.
Yeah, we're going to start off, though, with a look around the nation as we give you a view of what's going on here. And you can see we are going to be putting an end to some of the dry streaks that we've had in cities like Philadelphia with the frontal boundary that's coming through.
And the last couple fronts that we've seen move through the Northeast, there hasn't been any rain or not significant rain. This is a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, that rain, as it works its way through, should at least be measurable in most spots and hopefully enough to wet the leaves and some of the easily to burn fuel that's on the ground across so much of the eastern U.S. Behind it, there's another storm system working in the northwest, and that's where things are going to be active throughout the week. Seattle getting moving through. It's really, really needed in a place like Cincinnati, as it will be so many areas off towards the east. Philadelphia, September 28th is the last time we had measurable rainfall here. Trenton, you picked up a trace at the beginning of the month, but again, not enough to make a difference. So we could really use the rain in so many spots across the Northeast, including places like Cincinnati through most of southern across the board, across the Northeast for the past 30 days. This high pressure system just keeping with the usual pattern, but as that shifts offshore, southerly flow returns, and you might be worried those winds could agitate more fire weather. Well, the good news is the rain's coming with it. Here it is on the board. You can see this cold front coming in. So ahead of it, you do get that southerly flow, but it's a wetter southerly flow as it moves through there across the mid of Michigan as it moves over Lake Huron. This low pressure system is on the move, and while it does so, it's going to bring that cold front farther and farther to the east, which means we get rain. It's not a ton, but there will be spots that pick up a quarter to half inch of rain, maybe even a little more in a few locations. And all this will do to wet some of the leaves and some of the surface that we have. It doesn't really add moisture into the ground to change the drought month. COP29 is the 29th United Nations Climate Change Conference. It begins Monday, and this year's well, of course, as we talk about things across the northern tier, we've been talking about too dry of a time here, and we've finally got the rain. It is moving out. It was a quick hit of rain, but necessary and beneficial for so many of us. So as this pulls out for your Sunday, gets a little windy in spots like Chicago, for example, as we head throughout the day. 61 as the showers again move out. Much left to it as we move through time here. Things are quieting down for us. Well, thousands of Florida's certainly something that's always interesting when we talk about these tropical systems. You can see in the Gulf of Mexico, we still have Rafael weakening as it pulls away, so really not a big factor here. It is creating, though, still some rough surf for area beaches throughout the Gulf Coast. As we look, though, for the days to come, we're concerned about the tropics. We're still highlighting some low risk here, eyeing up mostly the Caribbean because, once again, we do have still some available moisture, still some warm sea surface temperatures, and shear is varying throughout the Caribbean and will continue to vary as we think about things here. It is going to be bright and dry for several spots as we close out our weekend. Austin, Texas, pretty hot, 87 for that high. We're also still kind of in that record challenging territory for a place like Tampa as we hold on to 87 degrees. Notice, though, Los Angeles a bit more comfortable in the mid-70s, fairly typical for our Southern California weather, but it is going to continue to warm up a little bit. And Philadelphia, 60 degrees as the clouds increase, awaiting that.
Well, taking a look at today's forecast for the southeast, we are seeing some rain, but not in many of the areas that Aaron was talking about in South Carolina where we were seeing that flooding. We are seeing some rain in Augusta and in many parts of North Carolina for today. Temperature-wise, we're in the 50s and 60s. 61 for Greensboro, 73 though for Florence, 68 over in Augusta. Let's take a look at exactly what to expect with that rain. So it's all things that rain focused in Georgia, but as we head into tomorrow, more of that rain is going to be heading into South Carolina and into the eastern portion of North Carolina there. But the good news, this rain is on the lighter side. So take a look at what this looks like on future rainfall here. A lot of those lighter green colors, not the heavier rain. I know when we've just had flooding, any rain is not helpful, but this shouldn't exacerbate any of those issues too much. Well, this week, this first week after daylight savings, the big story we've been following have been wildfires in the Northeast, but we're also dealing with some of those wildfires in the West. This main fire in California still burning started on the 6th of November, only at 21% containment for right now. The other thing that we're talking about in the West is the rain and the snow. We've just been talking about a couple of storms that have moved through, but tonight into tomorrow, we're going to see that next storm is setting up for more rain and mountain snow. This could lead to some localized street, but we're still making progress in building up that snowpack, getting closer to those ski resorts being able to open. As far as temperatures go, we're at 44 in Spokane with those gusty winds off the coast, rain, and more of that mountain snow. Now, again, localized flooding is going to be a concern for some of those low-lying areas, but then travel concerns also, again, up in the mountains with